So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing great today. We're back again, with another weekly Twitter space where we bring on an expert in the field of AI and we give them a platform to share their insights and, of course, their expertise. If you're new to the space, my name is Lewis and I'm part of the marketing team here at LayerAI, as well as the host for these weekly Twitter spaces. First and foremost, thank you to the usual listeners for joining us once again on this week's session of AI Talks with LayerAI. Today, we have an incredible guest lined up, so I really hope everyone can enjoy it. If you can't stick around for the whole space, don't worry, as this space will be recorded and you'll be able to come back to it in case you miss out on some of the key parts. First of all, let's check in with our guest today. His name is Neeraj. Neeraj, could you please confirm your microphone is working?
Yes, Louis, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Loud and clear. Could we kick this off with just a brief introduction on who you are and what pretty much brought you into the AI industry?
Absolutely. So, Louis, I'm an engineer who turned into a sales person, and I'm a go-to-market early stage startup expert. I'm based here in San Francisco. I'm also an investor. I have invested into companies like Anthropic, SpaceX, and many others, which I'm not allowed to mention on this space. But my expertise is that I help early stage founders to go to market faster with their ideas. So I help them in their pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B rounds. So for example, my previous two startups, I helped two of the founders to raise up to $50 million as part of their Series A, Series B.
That's awesome. That's a great resume. So I'm really excited for the questions that we have today. I have prepared a couple of questions that I think could be very interesting to get your thoughts on. So if you're ready, without further ado, let's get this show started. With my first question, which it is, so Neeraj, how would you say artificial intelligence is reshaping the traditional go-to-market strategies in this tech industry?
Yeah, great question. And that's why I mentioned in my introduction that I moved from engineering to sales, and I'm helping the go-to-market strategists with early stage founders. And as we are witnessing this AI boom because of all these large language models and generative AI initiatives, the go-to-market industry is going through an evolution because of the way AI is reshaping. So, for example, initially in the old days, you have to find a way to find your prospect. But in this new space, as the AI is coming into the picture, the first thing is, which I'm seeing in my personal experience working with founders, is personalization at scale. Personalization was there, but now it's happening at the scale. So, for example, if you are watching Netflix and you will notice that when you switch on and switch off Netflix, Netflix changes the cover image of the episodes or movies based on your interest. So behind the scene, Netflix is leveraging AI aggressively to drive the monetization, drive the binge watching, so that you can stay on the Netflix platform more and more, and then you can start watching more shows and movies. So the point I'm making is that the personalization at scale is happening in near real time using AI. In the same way, from the go-to-market point of view, predictive analytics. So predictive analytics is not a new concept, but the way large language models, generative AI is coming into the picture, it's making predictive analytics faster and better. So for example, we all know the brand Salesforce. So Salesforce has Einstein, which is AI-powered CRM tool. What it does is it helps small-scale companies and enterprises to find their prospects, their high potential clients faster. I have some numbers. So for example, 28% increase in closed deals within a quarter, just because AI Einstein platform is able to find potential buyers and potential prospects. That's another way of looking at it. Customer interactions are very important. And I spend a lot of time in pre-sales and post-sales. And now what I'm witnessing, sitting in Silicon Valley, sitting in San Francisco, right next to the South Park, which is the hub for many VCs, the AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants, they are transforming how the customer service and the overall sales process is going through this transformation. Initially you used to have human beings doing stuff, but now you have a very smart AI agents They're analyzing your information in near real time and building that customer 360 experience for the customer service agent to give back a better reply, to provide better insights. The best example I can share is Bank of America's AI chatbot, which is, we call it Erica. Erica doesn't need to talk to anybody. Erica can just go onto the chatbot. So you can go to on the chatbot and start talking to Erica, and Erica can start giving you all the intelligence that you need without even talking to a human being. The point here is that human beings, they are focused on building better way of training these AI agents so that you as a customer doesn't have to go to multiple hops to gain insights on the business that you're doing. One last thing which I want to mention, which I am a huge fan, is dynamic pricing. AI algorithms. So of course, machine learning is part of AI, but the potential large language models and generative AI is bringing to the table the dynamic pricing for companies like Uber. When it's raining in New York, Uber knows that how to navigate their Uber taxis and Uber cars in a way where customer can get access to those cars faster. So all this is happening because generative AI has opened door to many startups. And the way these base models, Anthropic, OpenAI, and many others, the way these base models are delivered to these startups, and now these startups are building tools on top of it to deliver better go-to-market strategies. This is crazy to me. Whenever I walk out of my condo, I see around the corner, there's always a founder somewhere in the cafe or the restaurant or the bar. Everybody, just literally everybody behind my desk is talking about, hey, how can I create a new startup to deliver better insights using AI?
That is awesome. And I really liked how you used also Netflix as an example, as pretty much everyone who uses Netflix isn't necessarily aware that artificial intelligence is actually playing a much, much bigger part than they realize in things that they are using in their day-to-day life. And it kind of leads me onto my next question. You mentioned a lot of developments that are occurring. What would you say are some of the key considerations that need to be addressed when launching an AI-powered product or service?
Yeah, Louis, great question. And great question, very sensitive question, because startups mindset is that go to market faster, but the real money is in enterprises. These big enterprises, they have billions of dollars of budget to spend on AI, and their first thing is security. And that's why today most of the projects, they are just sitting in the POC mode of AI projects, because CIOs, CTOs, CEOs, they are not comfortable of implementing Gen AI based solutions into production, because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know where the data is going to get compromised. So that's why they are very careful. So when it comes to launching a AI product or service, the first thing is the data quality and availability. As I was mentioning, Anthropic Claude is there, OpenAI, Llama, and many other models, base models are there. Your first challenge is that how you can enhance these base models and with more accurate information, so that, because these models, they have only so much limited information. But your job when you launch a product or service is to enhance these bomb models with more real-time information, so that you can start delivering better experience for your customers. So point is, data quality and data availability is a huge challenge when it comes to launching an AI product or service. Next piece is, as there is so much noise about the model selection, model performance, so you have to do your testing. You have to, based on your use case, you have to test out what base model works best for you, based on the accuracy, speed, scalability, and also the resource requirements. I was talking to somebody from NVIDIA, and he mentioned that the bill for your base models, using the base models, can go into millions of dollars if you don't use it correctly. Another very important point, very close to my heart, is ethical implications of while you're building an AI product and services, because you want to make sure that the fairness, the transparency, the accountability in the product or service that you're building, when AI agent is making a decision, the bias information is not there. So those ethical implications are very important while delivering a AI product or service. In the I want to actually double down what I was mentioning about the security. The next piece is the compliance piece. You guys are based in Europe or London, and I'm here in US. For you guys, GDPR is so important. For me, CCPA is very important. And in the same way, every state within the United States is trying to build their own version of GDPR. And so those regulatory compliance is very important, because if you launch something today based on AI, and then if you are not aware of new rules and regulations which are about to come in future, your product or service may not work in that particular geo. And at the end, I think the most important thing is your go-to-market strategy, your pricing model, and making sure that you are not compromising any security and privacy. For example, I was talking to one of the founders here, and she wants to build this CRM, basically taking care of the tofu, top of the funnel. And then she and I, we were just discussing some go-to-market strategies. And then I was explaining to her that as part of launching this product, you have to make sure that, you have identified your ICP, your product messaging is accurate. And then the way you do inbound and inbound for your product, you want to make sure that you're not just creating a lot of noise for your potential customers just because you're using AI. Because today, if you notice, Louis, literally every other company wants to add generative AI or AI agent into their marketing terms. But as buyers, we are very smart. We also know that, how marketing works. So when it comes to building your AI product and services, you have to make sure that you're not just bombarding your audience or your potential customers with this buzzwords of AI agent or agent force or agentic or random generative AI-based solutions.
Those are some great points. So thank you so much, Neeraj, for such an in-depth answer. One that stood out was definitely how it's largely the data quality and the availability, really, and kind of how without that good quality in those two, it'll really be hard to actually deliver something of quality. This kind of ties into my next question that I wanted to ask you, which is, how would you say companies can effectively communicate the actual value of their artificial intelligence solutions to that of their potential customers? Essentially, how can they reassure their customers on the quality that they can provide is actually to the standards that they should be trusting?
Yeah, absolutely. But Luis, before I answer this question, I do want to echo what you just said. Data quality and data availability, and this is where you will see that a lot of low code, no code companies, they are making millions of dollars just because they are delivering that experience to their customers so that they can bring the data faster to the base models, and then customers, they can release data products faster. So data availability and data quality with a low code, no code approach, like I work for Nextla, my previous startup was Prophecy. So I'm expert in this ETL space. And this is where I'm solving so many problems for customers by bringing right amount of the data. But now going back to your question, I'm actually a huge fan when it comes to communicating the value of the AI solution to the potential customers. I am a huge fan of outcome-based discussion. Output, let's say, for example, life of us SDR, somebody's calling, making thousands of calls a week. But if out of those 1,000 calls, nobody responds back to you, that is a bad outcome. You have an output where you made 1,000 calls, but outcome is that nobody responded. So when you when you communicate the value of your AI solution, make sure that you're focusing on the outcomes. You're not focusing on the technology. That means that when you're introducing your product or service, emphasize the AI technology itself, which highlights the tangible benefits rather than just focusing on technology jargons, right? You don't want to confuse your audience. So, for example, I was talking to one of the founders, and I was explaining to him, I said, instead of saying that, hey, AI uses advanced natural language processing, you can actually tweak that message back to your customer and say, the AI solution that your team built, it can reduce customer service response time by 50% or so. and increase the satisfaction score. So see the difference, instead of me echoing that, hey, I'm using natural language processing, instead of echoing that, I will echo the business value, which customer understands that, okay, your AI-based solution is making me more productive, more efficient, and I can go to market faster with my solution. In the same way, you actually want to showcase real world examples, how your AI solution is helping your customers or businesses. So, I actually work a lot in the retail business. So I was speaking with one of the leaders in the retail industry, and I was explaining to him, I said, instead of, if you focus on the outcomes by saying that, okay, using my AI agent, my customers reduce their inventory by 30% and increase the sales by 15%, rather than just saying that we have an AI-driven inventory management system. So, right. So if you look at this, what I'm doing, I am tweaking my words, my English, in a way where I'm focusing more on the business value, more on the outcome based on the AI solution, rather than just throwing some technology words or throwing some random words. So the outcome and the product messaging is very important when talking about AI services. And in the same way, just like any other sales process, if you stay focused on the pain point, and if you can clearly articulate to your audience that you have an AI solution which solves a specific problem, then your customer will understand what you're trying to do. I really want to give this example. I was talking to someone and said, so this person built the AI chatbot, and she said, our AI chatbot can handle up to 80% of customers, common customer inquiries. So basically, it can free up your support team to focus on complex issues. And then moment that 80% of common customer inquiries handled by AI agent, and as we were brainstorming on this idea, we did the A/B testing on this messaging. When we removed the 80% word and we just started throwing some, very specific AI terms, we noticed that people stopped responding to these ads. But the moment we added the 80% key factor, and also we said, we are going to free up your support teams and make them more productive so they can work on the complex issues. So the fog was gone and people started responding faster to our ads.
That's awesome. And something you said that highly resonated with me is focus on the outcome, not necessarily on the technology, which essentially means don't overcomplicate something that's bringing in your desired results, right? And just like the chatbot example you just mentioned about freeing up the support teams, sometimes it's really so simple as simplifying the message so people can actually understand what's happening. And slightly moving on, and tying this into my next question, I wanted to touch on the impact of AI and the impact it's having on market segmentation. So, Neeraj, in what ways do you think AI is impacting, as I said, market segmentation and also targeting? What could you tell us about that?
Yeah. Louis, in 2012, I gave a talk, and it's funny because at the time, literally nobody was talking about AI, and I don't want to take the credit that I was talking about AI, but it was a talk based on the big data and data ecosystems. It was I was part of a hosting company, data center company, and in that talk, I picked up the topic of artificial intelligence for last 5 minutes. And then my CTO was asking me, he said, Neeraj, how would you describe this artificial intelligence to your audience? And remember, this was in 2012. I said, the way I will explain, John, it is a right information to right people at the right time. So I came up with this 3R approach where, and now, in the retrospect, when I look back almost 15 years, and what I was telling, going back to your question, what I was telling that targeting and segmenting your customer based on right information and their location, and you send them the right useful information, and they will respond to it. And this is where I want to talk about, because I personally love, how marketing works. I want to talk about hyper personalization. Using AI, I don't have to write code anymore, and what I can do is, I can analyze large amount of data, and I can create micro segments. And sometimes I can even drill down to the individual targeting. So what it does is it allows me to create a highly customized marketing approach where an online retailer using AI to analyze browsing history and customers' purchase behavior and also the location based on the IP address. And then they can create thousands of microsegments for this personalized product and product recommendations and also marketing messages where they will make sure that Louis clicks on this ad or buys this product. So this hyper personalization was there before AI, but now what AI is doing is it's helping to analyze and go to market faster with this idea, because now you don't have to write code anymore and you can analyze large amount of data using AI. In the same way, there is a concept of dynamic segmentation. But AI does it enables real-time updates to market segments based on the continuously the way information is changing. People are moving around, the data is changing, and your behavior, online behavior is changing. So the based on the information that you are creating in near real time, AI can absorb that information in near real time and create more dynamic segmentation based on your needs. In the same area, I worked with a lot of startups here in Bay Area. Most of the startups, they're focusing on predictive segmentation. What they're saying, I want to create an AI agent which can forecast future behaviors. And Louis, this is so important. See, you go on the internet, you're generating some history, I can analyze it. But imagine the world where I can forecast what you are going to buy in future. So this predictive segmentation is playing a huge role. There are so many startups are being built because what it is doing is allowing companies to target customer based on their future needs rather than just historical data. So, for example, I'm working with this B2B software company. What they're doing is they're using AI to predict which customers are most likely to need an upgrade or additional services. And now they have this product-led growth, PLG momentum, and now they're selling more of their product and services to this particular enterprise. And so for me personally, AI is playing a huge role when it's coming to creating segmentation based on the ethnicity, based on the person's location. Again, I do want to highlight, I use a very important word, ethnicity. I do want to highlight that we need to make sure that there's no biased information, and then there are no ethical issues when the way AI creates the segmentation and targeting the customers.
Wow, great answer. And something, hyper personalization, that's definitely something that's most definitely necessary in the marketing world. And to be honest, there's so much that can be talked about with just this topic in itself. But we'd probably be here all day. So maybe we can definitely potentially set up a follow-up space to solely touch on this topic, as I believe it's something that's incredibly interesting. Now, for my next question, I wanted to reel back to something you mentioned in one of your first answers about how AI is actually influencing some pricing strategies as well. How do you see AI influencing these pricing strategies for tech products and services?
Yeah, so Louis, I am in a tech sales. I sell a technical software to enterprises. So, and also coming from engineering background to sales background, I got an opportunity to understand personas, understand people behavior in a different way. Based on my personal experience, I can see how an engineer reacts to a pricing conversation versus a CTO or a CIO or a CEO. And this is where I am using AI at the very advanced level to build my pricing strategies, because I was talking about this dynamic pricing. Now, what AI is doing is as AI is able to ingest large amount of the data and then analyze a large amount of data in almost near real time. So AI is predicting how quickly it can increase or decrease the price. So, for example, in the past, I was working with a very big airline company in US. This particular airline company, they are using AI to adjust their ticket prices in the real time based on routing, also the route popularity and remaining seats, and overall how the competitor airlines are doing the price analysis. So basically, dynamic pricing, going back to the example of Uber, Uber have a Uber surge, or if there's not enough demand, Uber can reduce the prices. So dynamic pricing is a huge factor, and many businesses, they are leveraging in a very smart way. But for me, as I'm not part of this whole B2C model, I'm more focused on B2B. So for me, I'm actually determining more optimal pricing for individual customers and or segments, based on the value of the product and service that we are providing. So for example, I am more focused on personalized pricing. So let's say today, if you come to me and say, Neeraj, I want to buy your software, based on your online pattern, based on your needs, based on your use case, and based on your company history, based on your company profile, I can put together more personalized pricing package for you. And behind the scene, I do use a lot of AI agents, as part of my go-to-market strategies, because, there are a lot of SaaS companies, they are offering more personalized subscription plans based on each user's usage and perceived value. And this is where I can analyze that, okay, Luis is part of so-and-so company, and so-and-so company is doing so-and-so things online. I can put all the data into my AI agent, and AI agent can predict the pricing for me. When it comes to predicting, the next piece, a lot of startups are being built on this, which is solely focused on pricing itself. Like how can I predict the price, and how I cannot lose a deal just because I gave a high sticker price or high price to my customers. And this is where AI is forecasting future market conditions, demand, and then allowing enterprises or companies to proactively adjust, their pricing strategies based on the customer's behavior, online, or customer needs. So the point I'm trying to drive home with this conversation is that, as AI agents are coming into the picture, and AI agents are able to read more data, analyze more data, and these AI agents, they are influencing the pricing strategies for the products and services in a way where you are not going to lose a deal, and you are going to deliver the product with the right price based on the value that your product or service is providing.
This sounds like such an incredible topic as well. I don't know too much about the dynamic pricing with AI, but it all sounds very, very exciting, to be fair. Now, thanks to your expertise, I wanted to ask, for people who are looking to get into the workspace of AI, data, and tech, do you have any advice that you could give them? Or maybe there are some good resources you could recommend for them, like some blogs, books, or maybe even some courses?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we can do a whole space on this topic, because this space is expanding so fast. Literally every day, there is something new going on the base models. And this is something I learned, I am on my own. My advice for the newcomers coming to the space will be that you should focus on developing a strong foundation. Focus on the core skills that you can use to understand the business side or technology side. So, I'm a active blogger on Forbes Technology Console, and one of my blogs, I talked about that the moment you can build a bridge between business and technology, you are the winner. So a lot of people can talk about technology, a lot of people can talk about business, but let's say if there's someone like Luis, someone like Neeraj comes into the picture, and if this individual or this team can build that bridge between business and technology, you can put together an amazing idea, amazing product, amazing startup. So the point here is that if you can build a strong foundation, how AI space is evolving by understanding the business needs and by understanding how this, base models like Anthropic Cloud or OpenAI and Llama, how these base models, they work, and also how the C-levels, leaders, they are looking to solve their problems using these base models. And in the middle, how you can enhance the base model, that's the strong foundation you can build. And on the same note, you can pick a more specific skill set. You can focus on the specialization rather than learning everything. You can just focus on hey, in this business space, I can focus on this particular vertical, or in the technology space, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on, data quality, data availability, data ingestion, data movement, or data transformation, or how to build better AI models on top of the existing models. So if you can pick those particular specific skill set, you can just keep building on top of that foundation, and you can just be specialized in one thing, and people will start reaching out to you and start talking to you about solving their business problems. The way I have done it by doing it. So for example, I have this 3-hour setup in the weekend. I go to ChatGPT or I go to Claude, and I ask them, I say, hey, I want to build an AI startup, and I want to build this SaaS application. Give me the code. And you won't believe, Lois, literally ChatGPT or Claude, they will spit out the code with the architecture diagram, and I will literally copy paste that code, and I can build that startup. I can build that SaaS product. And then now I know behind the scene how the base model is working. I know behind the scene what business problem I'm solving, and I can write a blog about it. I can educate my audience about it. And the last thing which I just want to say, two things. Network, wherever you are, if you can meet people in person. Let's say if you have social anxiety, if you cannot, then start attending some virtual conferences, and start building your network on social media. Start connecting with the same mindset people who are in this AI space. You can learn so much from those people. One last thing which I do want to highlight: whatever you do on AI, make sure that you're not compromising any ethical components. You should pay attention and understand the ethical implications of AI while you're building your product or services. And Louis, going back to your point, the books, I spend a lot of time on Coursera. I spend a lot of time on Udemy. There are so many good books and courses. So for example, I took the course by Andrew Ng on the machine learning a long time ago. That helped me a lot. And, there are so many good books on Amazon, which I have found. So one of my favorite books is, Artificial Intelligence, A Modern Approach by Stuart Russell and Peter Norvig. The really good book. So I think as a conclusion, there is so much information online you can just gather. All you have to do is come up with the idea and willingness to execute that idea.
That's awesome, Neeraj. I really love how you suggest focusing on specific sections and really taking it step by step, because we know that with the internet nowadays, a lot of people procrastinate on what's the right task, that they end up with what we know as paralysis by analysis, right? And it's really just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other. So I really hope people can listen back to the space and really take in the advice that you've given them. Now, to finish off, do you have any social links where our listeners could follow you to keep up to date with your works?
Absolutely. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. I post every day, one post, and I'm a huge fan of consistency versus being a perfectionist. I used to be a perfectionist, but then something happened. I learned a lesson in life. Now I'm more consistent than being perfectionist. So I post every day on LinkedIn. You can find me, Neeraj Sabharwal, on LinkedIn. I also have a website, neerajsabharwal.com. I also own a podcast, which is Better You by Neeraj. It's on Apple, Spotify. I post one episode every week. So there's a lot of information on that podcast. I bring a lot of go-to-market experts, a lot of technical people who talks about AI a lot. And of course, you can find me on Twitter/X, which is 123NSAB.
Awesome. Well, there you go, guys. Daily posts on LinkedIn and the Better You by Neeraj podcast. Well, that's a wrap. Those are all the questions we had prepared for you today. I hope everyone tuning in has found some value in today's Twitter space. Don't forget, as I said before, these Twitter spaces are recorded and posted on our page, so you can always revisit them at your convenience. Once again, thank you to all the listeners, and thank you to Neeraj for being an amazing guest today. Until the next one, everyone, take care.